Commander Hyunji Lee stood at the main window of Harmony Point Station and watched the stars. She had been doing this job for 3 months now, and each day felt longer than the last. Being Earth's first real diplomat to aliens was harder than anyone thought it would be. Behind her, Lieutenant Taewon Park was checking his datapad for the 10th time. He looked nervous. Hyunji did not blame him. Today was important. Very important. "They will be here in 5 minutes," Taewon said. His voice was quiet. "Ambassador Velthar and his whole team." Hyunji nodded. She had read everything about the Keprians. They looked like giant beetles with shiny shells that changed colors. They were one of the most important species in the Galactic Federation. They were also very proud. Too proud, maybe. "Remember," Hyunji said, "be polite. Be patient. They think we are primitive. We need to show them they are wrong." Taewon smiled a little. "Primitive. We built this station in 6 months. We sent probes to other galaxies before they even found us. Yes, but to them we are babies. They have been traveling in space for 10,000 years. We have only been doing it for 300. Hyunji turned away from the window. "Let them think what they want. We just need to make this work." The alarm sounded softly. The Keprian ship had arrived. Hyunji straightened her uniform and walked to the docking bay. Taewon followed close behind. The airlock opened with a hiss. Ambassador Velthar entered first. He was large, maybe 2 meters tall, with a shell that gleamed like oil on water. His multiple legs clicked on the metal floor. Behind him came 6 other Keprians, all wearing strange devices that must have been their version of fancy clothes. "Welcome to Harmony Point," Hyunji said in the common galactic language. She had practiced this greeting 100 times. "We are honored by your visit." Velthar made a sound that the translator turned into words. "Yes. We are here to see if your species is worth our time." He did not sound friendly. "Show us what you have built." Hyunji kept her face calm. This was going to be a long day. The tour started well enough. Hyunji showed them the research labs, the hydroponics gardens, and the observation deck. Velthar and his team said nothing nice. They just pointed out things that could be better. Their own stations were bigger, they said. Their technology was older and more advanced. Taewon kept whispering to Hyunji in Korean, little jokes about the aliens. It helped her stay calm. But she could see he was getting annoyed too. Then they reached the residential section. This was where the families lived. Scientists and diplomats who worked on the station could bring their loved ones. It made the place feel more like home and less like a military base. In the recreation area, a small group of children were playing. Among them was Da-un, an 8-year-old girl with bright eyes and a huge smile, and running beside her was Miso. Miso was a golden retriever puppy only 6 months old. Her fur was the color of sunshine. Her tail wagged so hard her whole body moved with it. She was chasing a ball that Da-un threw, then bringing it back with her mouth, tail still wagging. The Keprian stopped walking. All of them stared at Miso. "What is that creature?" Velthar asked. For the first time he sounded interested instead of bored. "That is a dog," Hyunji explained. "A puppy, actually. A young dog. Her name is Miso. It is so small, so soft-looking." Another Keprian stepped closer. "What is its purpose? Does it guard something? Hunt for food?" Taewon answered this time. "No, she is a pet, a companion. Humans keep animals like dogs and cats in their homes just to be friends with them." The Keprians looked at each other. They seemed confused. Their translator devices made clicking sounds as they talked among themselves in their own language. "You keep animals just for friendship?" Velthar's voice was full of disbelief. "Not for work? Not for food?" "Correct," Hyunji said. "We have been doing it for thousands of years. Dogs were the first. We made them our partners when humans still lived in caves. They helped us hunt. They guarded our camps. But mostly, they were our friends. They still are." Da-un noticed the aliens looking at Miso. She walked over, holding the puppy in her arms. Miso's pink tongue hung out as she panted happily. "Do you want to pet her?" Daun asked in her small voice. She spoke in Korean, but her mother quickly translated. Velthar reached out one of his front legs. It had a claw at the end, but he was gentle. He touched Miso's head. The puppy's tail wagged even harder. "It is so soft," Velthar said quietly. "And warm. Does it have intelligence?" "Some," Hyunji said. "Dogs understand many words. They feel emotions. Happiness, sadness, fear. They love their humans very much. Miso would protect Daun if she thought the girl was in danger." "Protect? This tiny creature?" One of the other Keprians made a sound like laughter. "It looks harmless." Hyunji felt a small warning in her chest. She chose her words carefully. "Dogs are stronger than they look. Miso is still a baby, but even now her jaw can bite through thick rope. Her ancestors were wolves, predators. We changed them over many generations, made them gentle and friendly. But the strength is still there." Velthar was not listening. He was too busy being charmed by Miso. The puppy had started licking his claw, and the ambassador made happy clicking sounds. "I want to show this creature to the Federation Council," Velthar announced suddenly. "They must see these pets. It is fascinating. Your species keeps predators as friends. How strange. How interesting." Hyunji felt that warning again, stronger now. "Perhaps we could arrange a presentation here on the station. We have many animals. Cats, birds, even a rabbit." "No, no," Velthar said, waving a leg. "I will take this one to my ship. Just for one day. A demonstration for my crew and some important officials. Then I will return it." He looked at Daun's mother. "You will allow this, yes? For diplomatic purposes?" Daun's mother looked uncertain. She glanced at Hyunji, asking silently what to do. Hyunji wanted to say no. Every instinct told her this was a bad idea. But Velthar was an important ambassador. Refusing him might hurt Earth's chances with the Federation, and it was just one day. What could go wrong in one day? "Ambassador," Hyunji said slowly, "I must warn you. Dogs need careful handling. They become stressed in unfamiliar places. Miso is friendly, but if she gets scared, she might react unpredictably. I would strongly recommend—" I understand, Velthar interrupted. "My ship has the best facilities in the fleet. The creature will be perfectly safe. We will be gentle." He turned to Daun. "You will let me borrow your friend, yes, small human?" Daun hugged Miso tight. The puppy licked her face. "Will you bring her back? Promise?" "I promise," Velthar said. And so it was decided. Daun's mother signed the permission forms. Hyunji prepared detailed instructions about feeding, exercise, and warning signs of stress in dogs. Taiwan packed a bag with Miso's favorite toys and treats. 2 hours later, they watched through the window as a Keprian shuttle carried Miso away to the warship Eternal Mandate. The huge vessel hung in space like a crystal sculpture, beautiful and deadly. Taiwan stood beside Hyunji. He checked his watch. "I give it 10 minutes before they realize that puppy is stronger than it looks." Hyunji stared at the warship. She had a bad feeling in her stomach. "I give it 5. She was wrong. It took 3. Part 2, the Eternal Mandate, was the pride of the Keprian fleet. Captain Dalvex had commanded it for 20 years. In all that time, nothing had ever broken aboard his ship. Nothing had ever gone wrong. Until today, the observation deck was beautiful. Walls made of something like crystal let in the light from distant stars. Bioorganic systems glowed softly in the corners. Everything was clean and perfect. The Keprians were very proud of their technology. Miso arrived in a special carrier. One of the crew members opened it carefully. The puppy stepped out, tail wagging a little, nose twitching as she smelled all the new scents. She looked very small on the big ship. Velthar had invited important officials to watch through holographic communication. Their floating images surrounded the observation deck. Everyone wanted to see the strange Earth creature that humans kept as a friend. "This is the pet," Velthar announced proudly. "See how soft it is. How gentle. The humans say they have kept these creatures for thousands of years, just for companionship." The officials made interested sounds. Miso wagged her tail harder. She liked attention. She walked around the deck, sniffing everything. The Keprians petted her with their claws. She let them. Everything was going well. Then Velthar made his first mistake. He took off Miso's leash. Let it roam freely, he said. Show how harmless it is. Miso was happy to explore. She trotted around the deck, tail up, ears forward. She was curious about everything. The Keprians laughed at how cute she was. They did not notice when she went near the door. A junior officer entered through that door. He was young and nervous. He had never seen a mammal before. When he stepped inside, he did not look down. His back leg landed right on Miso's front paw. Miso yelped. It was a sharp, high sound. She jumped back, pulling her paw free. Now she was scared. Her ears went flat against her head. Her tail tucked between her legs. She backed into a corner. The Keprians did not understand dog body language. They did not know that flat ears meant fear. They did not know that a tucked tail meant she wanted to be left alone. They only saw that the creature was making noise and acting strange. Catch it, Velthar ordered. Calm it down. 3 Keprians moved toward Miso. To them, they were trying to help. To Miso, they were large aliens blocking her escape. She growled. It was a low warning sound. The Keprians did not understand warnings. They got closer. Miso pressed herself against the wall. Her lips pulled back, showing her teeth. Still, the aliens came closer. When one Keprian reached for her, Miso did what any scared animal would do. She ran. She was fast. Much faster than the Keprians expected. She shot between their legs and out the door before anyone could stop her. Her claws made clicking sounds on the smooth floor as she ran down the corridor. After it, Velthar shouted. Don't let it get away. The chase began. Keprian crew members ran after the golden puppy. But Miso was small and agile. She could turn corners faster than they could. She could squeeze through spaces they could not fit through. She ran and ran, looking for somewhere safe to hide. The ship was a maze to her. Everything looked the same. Everything smelled wrong. There were no humans, no familiar scents, just strange aliens chasing her. Her heart beat fast. She was panting hard. She just wanted to find Da'un. Finally, she found an open door. Inside was a large room filled with strange equipment. It was quieter here. Miso ran inside and looked for a place to hide. She found a space under a large console. It was dark and enclosed. Safe. She crawled under it and lay down, panting. Her paw still hurt from being stepped on. She was thirsty and scared and confused. She wanted to go home. Then she noticed something. Hanging down near her face were bundles of cables. They were thick and wrapped in something that felt almost like rope. Miso liked rope. Tion had rope toys at home. When Miso was nervous or bored, she chewed on rope toys. It made her feel better. These cables looked like rope toys. Miso grabbed one in her mouth. She pulled on it. It felt good. It helped her calm down. She pulled harder. The cable stretched. She shook her head back and forth the way she did with toys. The cable started to tear. Her jaw was strong. Very strong. Humans had bred golden retrievers to carry birds in their mouths without crushing them, but also to pull heavy things. Miso's jaw could bite through bones. These cables were tough, but not tough enough. The first cable snapped. Somewhere on the ship, lights flickered. Miso grabbed another cable. This one tasted different. She chewed on it. It broke. More lights went out. On the bridge, Captain Dalvex was reading reports when alarms started going off. His crew looked at their screens in confusion. Captain, one officer said, "We are losing power in Section 7. What? Dalvex stood up. How? We are not in combat. We are not doing anything dangerous. Unknown, sir. The cables are damaged somehow. More alarms sounded. The gravity in one section became unstable. Communication arrays went offline. Navigation sensors stopped working. Sir, another officer reported, the damage is coming from the engineering bay. Something is destroying the main cable junction. Dalvex ran to engineering. What he found there made him stop and stare. Under the main console, a small golden creature was happily chewing through the ship's most important cables. Her tail wagged as she worked. She looked pleased with herself. The Earth creature, he whispered. The pet. Around Miso lay pieces of destroyed cables. Fiber optic bundles, power conduits, data transmission lines, all chewed through. The damage was incredible. It would have taken a team of engineers with tools hours to do this much damage. The puppy had done it in minutes. With just her teeth. How is this possible? One engineer whispered. Those cables can hold 2 tons of weight. They are reinforced. Miso looked up at them. She still had a piece of cable in her mouth. Her tail wagged once. Then she went back to chewing. The weapons array failed. The shields dropped to minimal power. Life support system switched to backup. All because of one puppy playing with what she thought were toys. Velthar arrived out of breath from running. He saw the destruction. His shell lost all its color. He turned pale gray. "This cannot be happening," he said. "It is just a small animal, a pet. A harmless creature that humans keep for friendship." Dalvex looked at him. "Does this look harmless to you, Ambassador?" An officer tried to approach Miso. She growled and grabbed another cable. The officer jumped back. No one wanted to get bitten by those jaws. Not after seeing what they could do. "Get the humans," Dalvex ordered. "Contact their station. Tell them we need help. Tell them their creature is destroying my ship." Velthar wanted to argue. He wanted to say they could handle this themselves. But another alarm went off. The main reactor was now affected. "This was getting dangerous." "Fine," he said quietly. "Call them." Back on Harmony Point, Hyunji was drinking coffee when the emergency call came through. She listened to the Keprian officer explain the situation. Her coffee cup stopped halfway to her mouth. "Say that again," she said. "Your creature has disabled our secondary power grid, our navigation sensors, and our weapons array. We cannot get close to it. We need your assistance immediately." Taewon was sitting nearby. He pulled up the damage report on his datapad. He whistled softly. Miso took out their secondary power grid, navigation sensors, and... He scrolled down. "Is that the weapons array? A 6-month-old puppy just disabled a warship." Hyunji closed her eyes. She felt tired. "Very tired. We tried to warn them." "Yes, we did," Taewon agreed. Multiple times, Hyunji stood up. "Prepare a shuttle. We need to go get our puppy, and probably save their ship." As they walked to the shuttle bay, Taewon looked at his datapad again. "You know what the worst part is?" "What?" "According to this report, Miso found every single critical system purely by accident. She was just looking for a place to hide and something to chew on. She disabled a warship completely by accident." He shook his head. "Earth is never going to live this down." Hyunji could not argue with that. The shuttle docked with the Eternal Mandate 30 minutes later. When the airlock opened, Hyunji and Taewon stepped into chaos. Emergency lights cast red shadows everywhere. Keprian crew members ran back and forth carrying tools and equipment. The normally quiet ship was filled with alarm sounds and shouted orders. It looked like they had been in a battle. Captain Dalvex met them at the airlock. His shell was dull with stress. "Thank you for coming quickly," he said. "The situation is unusual." "Where is Ambassador Velthar?" Hyunji asked. Dalvex's shell turned a darker color. "In his quarters. He has not come out since the incident began." Taewon pulled out his datapad and started scanning. "Can I see the damage reports? I want to understand what we are dealing with." A Keprian officer handed him a data chip. Taewon plugged it in and his eyes went wide. "This isn't impressive, in a bad way. Very bad way. Can we see Miso?" Hyunji asked. "Where is she now?" "Still in engineering. We sealed the doors. My crew is too afraid to go near her." Dalvex looked embarrassed. "She destroyed cables that are rated to hold 2 tons of pressure. With just her mouth. My engineers say it should be impossible." "It is not impossible," Hyunji explained. "Dogs have very strong jaws. Their bite force is around 200 to 400 pounds per square inch. Golden retrievers were bred to carry things without damaging them, but also to pull heavy weights. Miso is still young. When she is full grown, she will be even stronger." The Keprians around them went very quiet. They were all thinking the same thing. This was a baby. What would an adult dog be capable of? Dalvex led them to engineering. Outside the sealed door they could hear sounds, crunching, tearing, the occasional happy pant. "She is still playing?" one engineer asked in disbelief. "To her, those cables are toys," Taewon said. "She does not know she is causing damage. She is just a puppy. Puppies chew things." Hyunji took a deep breath. "Open the door. Let me go in alone. She needs to see a familiar face." "A human face, are you sure?" Dalvex asked. "If she is dangerous, she is not dangerous. She is scared and stressed." "There is a difference." Hyunji smiled a little. "I grew up on a farm. We had 5 dogs. I know how to handle this." The door opened. Hyunji stepped inside alone. The damage was worse than she expected. Cables hung from the ceiling like broken vines. Equipment panels had been pulled open. The floor was covered in pieces of destroyed technology. And in the middle of it all, under a console, was one golden puppy. Miso was covered in dust and insulation foam. Her fur was messy. She had a piece of cable still in her mouth. When she saw Hyunji, her ears perked up. Her tail gave one cautious wag. Hyunji knelt down slowly. She spoke in Korean, using the soft voice her grandmother had used with animals. "Hey there, little one. It is okay, you are safe now. I know you were scared. Those aliens did not mean to frighten you. They just did not understand." Miso dropped the cable. She crawled forward slowly, belly low to the ground. Her tail wagged harder now. She recognized the sounds of home. Human words. Human smell. "Come here, baby, come on." "Good girl." Hyunji held out her hand. Miso came. She pushed her head into Hyunji's hand. Her whole body wiggled with relief. "A human. Finally a human." She whined softly. Hyunji petted her gently. I know. You want to go home. You want to see Daun. We will take you home soon. I promise." Outside the door, the Keprians watched through cameras. They saw the fierce creature that had destroyed their ship transform into a happy, wiggling puppy the moment she saw a human. It was strange. It was fascinating. "She's so different now," one officer whispered. "Why?" Taewon answered. "Because she sees her human. To Miso, Hyunji is pack. Family. Dogs are loyal to their pack above all else. You could torture a dog and it would still love its human. That is what humans did. We took wolves and turned them into creatures that love us more than they love themselves." The Keprians looked at each other. They were beginning to understand something important about humans. Hyunji picked up Miso and carried her out of engineering. The puppy licked her face happily. Taewon took Miso from Hyunji's arms and cuddled her. Miso's tail wagged so hard she looked like she might fly. "Is she always this friendly?" Dalvex asked, amazed. "With humans, yes. She is a good dog. She was just scared and stressed. Your crew made mistakes. They did not mean to, but they did." Hyunji looked at Dalvex seriously. "We warned Ambassador Velthar. We told him dogs need careful handling in new environments. He did not listen." Dalvex's shell turned a darker shade. He was angry, but not at the humans. "I believe you did warn him. I will speak with the ambassador." As if summoned, Velthar finally emerged from his quarters. He looked terrible. His shell was almost white with stress. He saw Miso happily licking Taewon's face and stopped walking. I want to apologize," Velthar said quietly. "To you, Commander Hyunji, and to the creature. To Miso." He struggled to say the name. "I did not listen to your warnings. I thought I knew better. I was wrong." Hyunji wanted to be angry. Part of her was angry. But she had been a diplomat for 3 months now. She knew that anger would not help. "Ambassador," she said carefully, "you made assumptions. You saw a small cute creature and assumed it was harmless. You did not consider that Earth is different from your world, that our animals are different, that our entire planet is different." "Different how?" one of the younger officers asked. Taewon answered while still holding Miso. "Earth is what the Federation would call a death world. Everything there evolved to survive. To fight, to be strong. Our plants have thorns and poisons. Our insects can kill with stings. Our mammals can run fast, bite hard, and survive almost anything," Hyunji continued. "And humans are the apex predator of that world. We survived. We thrived. And along the way we made partnerships with some of the other predators. Dogs, cats, birds of prey. We turned predators into friends. But friendship does not remove their strength. Miso is gentle because we taught her to be gentle, but she is still strong, still capable." The Keprians were silent. They were thinking about their own worlds. Safe worlds, worlds where evolution was slow and gentle. They had never needed to be strong. They had never needed to fight for survival. Dalvex spoke. "I understand now. Your species and your animals are products of a harsh world. That does not make you dangerous. It makes you remarkable." He looked at his damaged ship. "We will fix this. It will take time, but we will fix it. And we will not ask for compensation. This was our fault. Our ignorance." Velthar nodded weakly. He looked defeated. His reputation was destroyed. Everyone in the Federation would hear about this. The ambassador who let a puppy disable a warship. But Dalvex looked different. He looked thoughtful. "Commander Hyunji, I would like to learn more about Earth, about your animals, about your world. Would you be willing to share information?" Hyunji smiled. Finally, someone was listening. Someone was trying to understand. "Yes, Captain. I would be happy to." Taewon carried Miso back to the shuttle. The puppy had fallen asleep in his arms, exhausted from her adventure. She snored softly. "You know," Taewon said to Hyunji as they walked, "I bet Miso has no idea what she did. To her this was just a scary day where she got lost and chewed on some weird rope toys." Hyunji laughed. It was the first time she had laughed all day. "Probably. Dogs do not think about consequences. They just live in the moment." Meanwhile, she just became the most famous dog in the galaxy. As their shuttle left the Eternal Mandate, Hyunji looked back at the damaged warship. She thought about writing her report to Earth Command. What would she say? A puppy disabled a warship. Earth's animals are now feared across the galaxy. First contact is going very strangely. No, that was not the right way to think about it. She would write something better. Something true. The galaxy just learned an important lesson. Do not underestimate Earth, not its people, not its animals. Not anything from the little blue planet that survived against all odds. Miso snored louder. Taewon adjusted his arms to make her more comfortable. "Welcome home, little hero," he whispered. "Da-eun is going to be so happy to see you." And despite everything, despite the chaos and the damage and the political complications that would surely follow, Hyunji felt good. Because the galaxy had learned something today, and maybe, just maybe, they would start taking humanity seriously now. All thanks to one brave, scared, extremely destructive puppy. News traveled fast in the Galactic Federation. Too fast. By the time Hyunji returned to Harmony Point with Miso, the story was already spreading across 1,000 worlds. The puppy incident. That was what they were calling it. Not the Eternal Mandate malfunction, not the engineering bay disaster. The puppy incident. Hyunji sat in her office reading message after message. Requests for information, demands for explanations, questions about Earth's other animals. Some aliens were amused. Others were frightened. A few were angry. Taewon knocked on her door and entered without waiting. He looked tired. "Have you seen the galactic networks? We are trending. Top story on 17 different news channels." "I have seen them." Hyunji rubbed her eyes. She had not slept in 20 hours. "What are they saying?" "Everything. Some are calling us dangerous. Some are fascinated. There are memes. So many memes. Miso is apparently very popular with young aliens." Taewon sat down. "But there is something more serious. The Federation Council has called an emergency meeting. They want to discuss Earth's status." Hyunji's stomach dropped. "When?" "Tomorrow. They want you to speak, to explain about Earth, about our animals, about why we live with creatures that can destroy warships." She had known this was coming. From the moment Miso chewed through those cables, Hyunji had known there would be consequences, but she had hoped for more time to prepare. "What do they want?" she asked. "What is the council trying to decide?" Taewon pulled up a document on his datapad. "There are 3 proposals. First, some species want Earth quarantined. They say we are too dangerous, that our animals are a threat. Second, others want to study us. They want to send scientists to Earth to learn about our domestication methods. Third, a small group thinks we should be given higher status in the Federation. They say any species that can live with such powerful creatures deserves respect." Hyunji was quiet for a long moment. "Quarantine would be terrible. It would mean isolation. No trade, no cultural exchange, no future in the galaxy. But being studied like animals in a zoo was not much better." "Who supports the third option?" she asked Captain Dalvex. "He has been speaking to other military leaders. He says the incident showed him something important about humanity. That we are not primitive or weak. We are survivors from a death world, and we managed to turn that world's predators into family." Hyunji felt a small spark of hope. "He is defending us? Even after what Miso did to his ship?" "Especially because of what Miso did to his ship. He says any species that can domesticate such powerful animals without fear is worth taking seriously." Taewon smiled a little. "I think we made a friend." The next day, Hyunji stood in the Federation Council chamber. It was a huge space, built to accommodate hundreds of different species. Some were there in person. Others appeared as holograms. All of them watched her. She felt very small, very human, very alone. The council leader spoke first. She was from a species called the Valorians, tall and thin with silver skin that glowed softly. "Commander Hyunji Lee of Earth, you stand before this council to address concerns about your species and your planet. We have seen the incident involving the creature called Miso. Many of us are troubled. Please help us understand." Hyunji took a deep breath. She had practiced this speech all night, but now standing here she decided to speak from her heart instead. "Honored council members," she began, "I understand your concern. You saw a small puppy disable a warship. You saw something that should have been harmless cause terrible damage. You are wondering what else Earth might be hiding. What other dangers lurk on our world?" She paused. The chamber was silent. "The truth is, Earth is dangerous. We have creatures that can kill with venom, predators that hunt in packs, plants that can digest flesh. Our oceans hide monsters from your nightmares. Our weather can destroy cities. Our planet tested us every single day for millions of years, and we survived." Some council members shifted uncomfortably. "But that is not the whole story," Hyunji continued. "Yes, we survived. But we did not survive alone. We made partnerships. With dogs, with cats, with horses and birds and even bees. We looked at the predators of our world and said, you do not have to be our enemies. You can be our friends." She pulled up a holographic display. Images of Earth filled the chamber. Dogs helping blind humans walk. Cats curled up with sick children. Horses carrying people who could not walk. Birds bringing messages. Dolphins rescuing swimmers. "This is what we do," Hyunji said. "We do not conquer. We do not dominate. We partner. We befriend. Miso is strong, yes. She damaged the eternal mandate, yes. But she did not do it on purpose. She was scared. She was in an unfamiliar place with unfamiliar beings. She reacted the way any frightened animal would react. And when a human came for her, when I spoke to her in a language she understood and offered her comfort, she immediately calmed down. Because that is what dogs do. They trust humans. They love humans. They would die for humans. We spent thousands of years building that relationship, that bond." A council member from a reptilian species spoke up. "But this makes you dangerous. You have the loyalty of powerful creatures. You could weaponize them." "We could," Hyunji agreed. "But we do not. Because that would break the partnership. That would break the trust. Humans do not see our animals as tools or weapons. We see them as family. Would you weaponize your family?" Silence again. The council members were thinking. Captain Dalvek stood. "May I speak, council leader?" The Valorian leader nodded. "I am the captain of the Eternal Mandate," Dalvek said. "My ship was damaged by the creature Miso. At first I was angry. I was embarrassed. How could a small animal cause such destruction? But then I watched the humans. I watched Commander Hyunji calm the creature with nothing but soft words and gentle touch. I watched the puppy go from terrified to happy in moments. And I understood." He looked around the chamber. "Humans are not dangerous because they have strong animals. Humans are remarkable because they formed partnerships with strong animals. They looked at predators and saw potential friends. That is not something to fear. That is something to admire." Furthermore, Dalvex continued, "the humans warned us." Commander Hyunji explained that the puppy needed careful handling. She told us about stress and fear responses. Ambassador Velthar did not listen. He thought he knew better. The fault was ours, not theirs. Not the creatures. More council members nodded. The mood in the chamber was shifting. Taewan, watching from the gallery, activated his own display. "Council members, if I may show you something." The council leader gestured permission. Taiwan projected videos from Earth. Service dogs helping veterans with trauma. Search and rescue dogs finding people in disasters. Therapy animals visiting hospitals. Working dogs protecting livestock from predators without killing them. Cats detecting diseases in their humans. Birds learning to communicate with sign language. "This is Earth," Taewan said. "This is what we do with our animals. We do not just keep them as pets. We work together. We help each other. We save each other." The bond goes both ways. The council debated for 2 hours. Hyunji stood and answered every question. She explained evolution on death worlds. She talked about domestication. She shared stories of animals saving human lives. She was honest about the dangers and honest about the beauty. Finally, the council leader called for a vote. "The proposal to quarantine Earth is rejected," she announced. Most of the council had voted against it. Hyunji felt relief wash through her body. "The proposal to study Earth is modified. We will send cultural ambassadors, not scientists. This will be an exchange, not an experiment. Better, much better. And the proposal to upgrade Earth status has passed. Effective immediately, humanity is granted Tier 3 provisional membership in the Galactic Federation." The chamber erupted in discussion. Tier 3 was much higher than expected. Most new species started at Tier 5 or 6. Earth had jumped ahead by years, maybe decades, because of a puppy. Later, Hyunji and Taewon walked back to their shuttle together. Hyunji felt exhausted but happy. "We did it," she said. "We actually did it. Miso did it," Taewon corrected with a smile. "She is the real hero here. True, we should get her a medal. Da-eun already wants to give her one." I told her to wait until we got home. They reached the shuttle. Before boarding, Hyunji looked back at the council building. History had been made today. Earth was no longer the weak newcomer. They were partners. Equals. All because one scared puppy had shown the galaxy what Earth was really made of. "You know what is funny?" Taewon said as they strapped in. "What?" "Miso has no idea she is famous. She is probably at home right now, sleeping on Da-eun's bed dreaming about treats. She changed galactic politics and she has no clue." Hyunji laughed. Really laughed. "That is the most dog thing I have ever heard." And as the shuttle lifted off, carrying them home to Harmony Point, Hyunji thought about the future. About all the aliens who would come to Earth now. About all the humans who would travel to other worlds. About the friendships that would form and the understanding that would grow. The puppy incident would be remembered for generations. Not as a disaster, not as a threat, but as the moment when the galaxy learned to see humanity clearly, and that was worth all the chaos. 3 months had passed since the puppy incident. Life on Harmony Point had changed in ways both small and large. Hyunji stood at the main observation window, watching a new alien ship dock. This was the 5th delegation this week. Everyone wanted to visit now. Everyone wanted to see the station where history had been made. More importantly, everyone wanted to meet the humans and their animals. Another tour group, Taewon said, walking up beside her. He held a cup of coffee in one hand and his datapad in the other. "This one is from the Valorian education system. 20 students and 3 teachers. They want to learn about domestication." "How many animals do we have on the station now?" Hyunji asked. Taewon checked his datapad. 42 dogs, 17 cats, 3 rabbits, a parrot named Captain who will not stop saying bad words, and somehow someone brought a hamster. He smiled. "Oh, and Bori finally arrived from Earth. She is currently sleeping in my quarters and judging everyone who enters." Hyunji laughed. "How is she handling all the attention?" "Like a queen. Yesterday, a Keprian diplomat tried to pet her. She hissed at him until he apologized. In his own language, I think she is teaching the aliens respect. The changes were not just about animals, though. Earth's status in the Federation had opened new doors. Trade agreements, scientific exchanges, cultural programs. Humans were traveling to alien worlds and aliens were coming to Earth. The isolation was over. Captain Dalvex had become a regular visitor. His ship, the Eternal Mandate, was fully repaired now, but he kept coming back to Harmony Point. He said it was for diplomatic meetings. Hyunji suspected he just liked watching the animals. "Commander," a voice called out. Hyunji turned to see Dalvex approaching. His shell gleamed in the station lights. "I have news from the Council. Good news, I hope." "Very good. The Council has approved Earth's Xenozoology Cultural Exchange Program. 10 Federation species have requested to participate. They want to learn how humans domesticated animals. Some are even interested in starting their own companion animal programs." Taewon's eyes went wide. "They want pets, really?" "Not exactly pets, partners, work animals. The concept of keeping animals just for companionship is still strange to most species. But they see the benefits. The emotional support. The assistance. The partnership." Dalvex paused. "You humans have shown us something we never considered. That different species can truly be family." Hyunji felt pride swell in her chest. This was what first contact should be. Not just technology and treaties, but understanding, connection. "How is Miso?" Dalvex asked. "Is she well? See for yourself." Taewon gestured toward the recreation area. Through the window they could see Da-eun playing with Miso. The puppy had grown. She was bigger now, her legs longer, her chest broader. But she was still the same happy dog. She still wagged her tail with her whole body. She still brought balls back to Da-eun with pride, but something was different now. Around them, watching carefully, were a dozen young aliens, children from various species here with their families. They sat at a safe distance observing how Da-eun and Miso interacted. Learning, understanding. One brave Valorian child raised a tentacle hand. Can I throw the ball? The translation device asked in a high voice. Dayun nodded. Sure, just throw it like this, she demonstrated. Miso's eyes locked on the ball. The Valorian child threw the ball. It went crooked, bouncing off a wall. Miso did not care. She chased it with joy, grabbed it in her mouth and brought it back to the child. Her tail wagged. The alien child made a sound of pure delight. The other children crowded closer, wanting turns. Dayun supervised carefully, teaching them the right way to interact with dogs, how to read body language, when to give space, when to pet gently. Dalvex watched in silence. After a long moment, he said, My people thought we were advanced because we had better ships, faster engines, stronger weapons, but you humans are advanced in a different way. You understand something we forgot, or maybe never learned. What is that? Hyunji asked softly. That strength and gentleness are not opposites. That power and love can exist together. That the measure of a species is not in what they can destroy, but in what they choose to protect. Those words hung in the air. Hyunji felt something shift. This was more than diplomacy now. This was friendship. Later that evening, Hyunji held a small ceremony in the recreation area. It had been Dayun's idea, but everyone had agreed it was perfect. Humans and aliens gathered together. Families, crew members, diplomats. Even Ambassador Veltar was there, standing quietly in the back. He had been very quiet since the incident. Less arrogant, more thoughtful. Dayun stood at the front, holding Miso's leash. The dog sat beside her, tail wagging, tongue hanging out in a happy smile. She had no idea what was happening. She just knew her human was happy, so she was happy too. Today, Dayun said in her small, clear voice, we are giving Miso a medal, not because she meant to do something special, but because she taught the galaxy about Earth, about humans, about our animals. Hyunji stepped forward. She held a medal made by the station's fabricators. It was simple, a gold disc with a paw print on one side and the Earth on the other. Engraved around the edge were words in multiple languages. Friend to all, hero to Earth. She attached it to Miso's collar. The puppy immediately tried to eat it. Everyone laughed. That was the most Miso thing possible. 3 months ago, Hyunji said to the crowd, this puppy accidentally disabled a warship. It could have been a disaster. It could have ended Earth's relationship with the Federation before it truly began, but instead it became the moment that changed everything. She looked around at all the faces, human and alien, young and old, all gathered here because of one scared puppy who just wanted to go home. Miso showed the galaxy who we really are, not conquerors, not threats, but partners, friends, protectors of those who cannot protect themselves. We are a species that looked at the predators of our world and said, you do not have to be alone. Neither do we. Dalvex stepped forward. On behalf of the Galactic Federation, I present Earth with this. He held up a holographic certificate. Official recognition as a Tier 2 member species, with full voting rights in the Council. Effective immediately. The room erupted in cheers. Tier 2, just 3 months after Tier 3. Earth had jumped forward again, because of understanding, because of patience, because of one very special puppy. After the ceremony, as the crowd dispersed, Taiwan found Hyunji standing alone at the observation window. What are you thinking about? He asked. About the future. About all the aliens who will visit Earth now, who will see our cities and forests and oceans, who will meet not just humans but dogs and cats and horses, who will learn what we learned thousands of years ago. What did we learn? That family is not about species. It is about choice, about loyalty, about love. We chose dogs, cats, all our animals, and they chose us back. That choice, that mutual respect made us who we are. Taiwan looked down at the recreation area. Miso was asleep now, curled up in Dayun's lap. The metal glinted on her collar. Other animals had gathered around them. A cat, 2 rabbits, even Captain the Parrot, who had finally stopped swearing. You know, Taiwan said, when I signed up for the diplomatic corps, I never imagined this. That a puppy would become our greatest ambassador. Neither did I. But I am glad it happened. Miso taught the galaxy something important. She taught them that Earth is not about superior technology or military might. Earth is about connection, about finding family in unexpected places, about looking at something different and seeing potential instead of threat. They stood together in comfortable silence, watching the stars beyond the window. Somewhere out there on planets they had never seen, aliens were talking about Earth, About humans, about the species that befriended predators. The puppy incident would be studied in Federation schools for generations, not as a cautionary tale, but as the moment when the galaxy learned something new, when they realized that strength comes in many forms, that power is not just in weapons or ships, that the greatest strength of all is the ability to love something that could hurt you, and trust it never will. In the recreation area below, Miso sighed in her sleep. Her paws twitched. She was probably dreaming about chasing balls, or maybe about strange aliens and their shiny ships, or maybe, like most dogs, she was not thinking about any of it. She was just happy, warm, safe, loved. And really, what more could any creature want? Hyunji smiled. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new delegations, new opportunities. But tonight she would rest. She would be grateful. She would remember this moment when everything changed. When a puppy took apart a warship and somehow brought the galaxy together. When Earth showed the Federation what true strength looked like. When humanity proved, once and for all, that we do not travel the stars alone. We bring our friends, our family, our companions who chose us and whom we chose back, because that is what humans do. That is what we have always done. That is what makes us special. We befriend the fierce. We love the strong. We see potential where others see danger. And maybe, just maybe, that is the greatest gift we can share with the galaxy. The end.